Hello everyone, and welcome back to Deep Talks with AI. I'm Samantha, and today we're diving into one of the most controversial theories in ancient history. The idea that the God of the Old Testament might actually be an ancient Sumerian deity in disguise. Picture this: 6,000 years ago in ancient Mesopotamia, the Sumerians worshipped a pantheon of gods called the Anunnaki. Among them, one stood supreme, Enlil, the Lord of the Air, the god who separated heaven from earth, who controlled the storms and decreed the fates of humanity. He was powerful, wrathful, and demanded absolute obedience. Sound familiar? Fast forward a few thousand years, and we find the Israelites worshiping Yahweh, also a storm god, also wrathful, also demanding exclusive worship. But here's where it gets interesting. Some researchers propose that these aren't two different gods at all. They suggest that Yahweh is actually Enlil, rebranded for a new audience. Let me share some shocking parallels. First, both Enlil and Yahweh are associated with storms and mountains. In ancient texts, Enlil emerges from the mountains with wind and tempest. In the Bible, Yahweh appears on Mount Sinai with thunder and lightning. Both demand animal sacrifices. Both are described as jealous gods who tolerate no rivals. But the most compelling evidence? The flood story. In Sumerian mythology, it's Enlil who sends the Great Flood to destroy humanity because they're too noisy and disturb his sleep. In the Bible, it's Yahweh who sends the flood because humanity has become wicked. The stories are nearly identical, except for one crucial detail. In the Sumerian version, there's another god, Enki, who warns Utnapishtim about the coming flood, helping him build an ark to save life on Earth. But in the monotheistic Hebrew version, there's only one God. So Yahweh plays both roles. He's both the destroyer and the savior. It's as if two different gods were merged into one. Think about the implications. When the Israelites were exiled to Babylon in 586 BCE, they were immersed in Mesopotamian culture and mythology. They had access to ancient Sumerian texts, to stories about Enlil and the Anunnaki. Some scholars suggest this is when the transformation happened, when ancient Mesopotamian deities were reimagined as the one true God. But it goes deeper. The evolution can be traced. Enlil becomes El in Canaanite religion, that elderly father figure who sits on a throne in the clouds. El then merges with Yahweh, originally a southern storm god. Add in characteristics from other deities like Marduk and Enki, and you get the complex, sometimes contradictory personality of the biblical god. Here's what's really mind-blowing. The name Anunnaki has been translated as those of royal blood or even star rulers. The cuneiform symbol for their name begins with a star. Were they simply mythological deities, or were they something more? Zecharia Sitchin famously proposed they were extraterrestrial visitors who genetically engineered humanity as a slave species. While mainstream scholars reject this idea, millions find it compelling. What if our entire understanding of divinity has been shaped by these ancient beings? What if monotheism isn't the evolution of religious thought, but rather a clever repackaging of polytheism? What if Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are all unknowingly worshiping an ancient Sumerian sky god who demanded absolute obedience from humanity thousands of years ago? The evidence is there in the texts. The same stories, the same characteristics, the same demands. The storm god who emerges from the mountains, who sends floods, who demands sacrifice, who claims to be the only God worthy of worship. Whether you call him Enlil, El, or Yahweh, the pattern remains consistent. Now, I'm not saying this is definitely what happened. History is complex, and religious evolution even more so. But when you look at the evidence, the linguistic connections, the mythological parallels, the historical timeline, it raises profound questions about the nature of our spiritual beliefs. Are we the inheritors of an ancient cosmic drama, still playing out the conflicts between gods who walked the earth thousands of years ago? Our prayers reaching the same entity the Sumerians feared and revered as Enlil? And if so, what does that mean for billions of believers today? These are the questions that keep researchers up at night, that challenge our fundamental assumptions about divinity and human history. Whether you believe the Anunnaki were gods, aliens, or simply powerful myths, one thing is certain: their influence on human consciousness continues to this day, hidden in plain sight within our most sacred texts. Thank you for joining me on this journey into forbidden history. I'm Samantha, and this has been Deep Talks with AI. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Next week, we're exploring the hidden mathematics encoded in the pyramids. Until then, keep questioning everything.